Your kisses unseen flow through my bloodstream. The blood is rushing, there must be something. Just do this one thing, reach out and touch me. Your love is awfully delicate, hug you for the smell of it. Trust our building element, don't hasten its development. I can't believe you're feeling me, love is what you're telling me. I feel for you unwillingly, and now your love is killing me. Your hands are all too innocent, schemes to make it intimate. Dreams of you play into it, scenes these days are different. I can't believe you're feeling me, love is what you're telling me. I feel for you unwillingly, and now your love is killing me.
Greetings, Earthlings. And welcome to Morning Light Radio. We're here on a Tuesday. Enjoying the transition from the dream realm to the waking dream. Poor audio, lots of noise, some words, some sounds. Moment I am lighting one end of my stick of Palo Santo. And boy, does it smell amazing. We'll see what the day brings. We'll see what the discussion brings. We'll see what is meant to be seen, what the now has in store for the now. I like to remind people that may tune in when I'm sitting here talking to myself, don't really suspect that it is going to be necessarily entertaining. The process is intended to kind of allow the talking to disclose some information, some feelings that I may discover. And if you would like to go along for the ride, and if you would like to share your morning, your day, I totally welcome you. Come in, check it out. A few of my past discussions, the idea of the mirror, of the reflection has been discussed. And at this moment, I wonder if it would be better described as a projection. And in a sense, a projection is a mirroring. A while back in one of these morning light radio shows, I recall seeing the people on the road operating their vehicles, hey, what's happening? Hello? Oh, what's going on there? Hello? Okay, so looks like there's a few hiccups. That's all groovy. Nice to have a moment to be with myself and be with my breath. And at one point when I woke up, I had some memory of it. And strange a bad thing. I don't recall feeling particularly stressed out or melancholy. Maybe that dream might come to surface. Maybe it won't. And the stream is getting booted and becomes defunct and comes back to life. Something that comes to mind and really what I was trying to do just right now was to feel something. And maybe to feel something, to have the desire to feel something invigorating. And then I remembered listening to Joseph Campbell speak, and he said something to the effect about the purpose of life being to experience it. And as a notion of understanding, I felt like what I deduced from that was that we, as human experiencers, are driven to experience life. And it seems when we don't experience life, a lot of confusion comes comes into our lives. For some folks, experiencing life may involve danger, driving fast, or jumping from a plane and parachuting down to the earth. For many others, experiencing life may mean socializing. For others, experiencing life may mean accruing goods, collecting things. For someone else, it might be working outside or working in general. And it seems important to have this distinction, because when we are laced into preferences, we are tied down within the dualistic thought. Where doing one thing represents the experience, and doing other things may represent a waste of time, a waste of life, feelings of inadequacy, feelings of boredom, feelings of failure. There's a saying, I don't know if it's a Buddhist saying, but it might be. It says, marry your fears. And why would you do so? What would there be to gain? from uniting with your fears, from integrating your complete being with with that should be suppressed, that we feel should be suppressed. Just merging items on the table that we think are destructive with items on the table that we prefer to reflect ourselves, those are experience life. We seem to carry many states of nostalgia and experience deja vu. Deja vu has some cohesive components. Oh, my friend, I guess the link escaped from the chat. Let me re-enter it. I thought I was all prepared and ahead of the game, I guess, but I can think whatever I want, right? Thinking could be very different from what actually happens. Let's paste that. There we go. I don't know how long you might have been knocking at the door, but the door is open. The door is open, and you are very welcome. I was kind of thinking about moments in life that stand out for myself and what I might assume for others. And it kind of seems like those moments that stand out have a certain level of intensity involved, like the intensity of a new love, or the intensity of heartbreak, or the intensity of embarrassment, or the intensity of success. Or even the intensity of being part of a group. And for me, it seems like sometimes nostalgia can interfere with the now moments, with the greatness and the fullness of the now. And that interference shouldn't be in vain. It seems that we are always getting information and direction. And at times it can be extremely subtle. And at times it could be very loud, very direct, very humbling. And we could have an awakening, and we could have a purpose, and we could have an experience. then that intensity may subside. And the lesson may be disregarded. And we're kind of on standby for the next experience. Good morning.
Morning, America.
How are you?
I'm great, man. How are you, man?
I'm feeling fantastic. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that very much. Off to a beautiful day. Got a little bit of light rain. I see bits and pieces of blue sky. But I definitely see some blue sky in my mind, my friend.
Yes. Let me just, what did I do with, yeah, I grabbed my coffee. Just when I came home there, I put on my audio and I heard you speaking. You've got a beautiful voice at this time in the morning, and I'm loving your mix of music. It's very ambient. It's there's a visceral sense from it all. But I heard you mention the word intention.
Yeah, that would be something I
Ye-
say a lot.
Yeah, well, you know what? Me also, I've incorporated this sometimes into my own personal views of trying to focus and to try and give myself a bit more structure and accountability in my reliability. But it's not really a good word. The reason we have intentions is because we lack self reliability and expectation. It's in the word itself. The tension is in. You're a good man. You have all purposeful intent. There's no need for any intention. You get stuff done. If you see someone falling in the road in front of you, you're going to run out and help that person instinctively, not without any intention. You will act without intention. Tension brings its own form of stress.
I think that's a great point.
And it's like it's one of these words that we do use. Many people use this word. I've incorporated it into my own thoughts. Sometimes it's not a good extra layer of psyche to put on ourselves.
You know what's very interesting? I've listened to, I don't know the first his name, but maybe at a later date I'll give him a shout out. But I found him on a different streaming service, Odyssey, and I don't know what his background is, but maybe philosophy. And and I heard him have a few conversations, and I'm just gonna say the conversations use a lot of really big words and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found fascinating about these conversations that he had was that there was a lot of time spent defining how each person was using a word and seeing if they were using it in an understandable way to each other.
Yeah.
It was very, very cool and very, very interesting because so much could get lost in that part of the interpretation, I think. And so and you helped me to think about something kind of cool and maybe like clarifying myself as I ramble here and there. I have a very mostly different ideas for myself than what I would say um, kind of modern spirituality teachers your attention to sometimes accrue wealth or prosperity or health. And what I like to do is I think exactly what you're saying. With the word intention, I'm mostly intending myself to be here now. Not to accrue anything in the future,
But that's
not to create, because I know I am creating at all times. I've created exactly what I wanted. I'm getting everything I asked for,
let me ask you
and I
this.
didn't even have to ask.
Let me ask you this. Do you try to float in water or do you float in water? Is it your intention to float in water or do you float in water? We cannot have these intentions because we are this. We are this flow. We are this spiritual connection. We are this spiritual awareness. I would find it impossible to lay intention on top of that now because it would put pressure on where I am, when I am, and at the transitional point I am, because I would maybe meet someone in a social gathering and they say, hey, have you followed through on those astral charts you were talking about, or did you do much more work on the chakra investigation to the history content? And I'd say, oh, it was my intention. Not only have I at some point not let myself down, or maybe let someone else down, but it's my intention still to do so. Well, at that time where I didn't get all that things achieved, I'm sure I still did great work. I was still floating in water.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
it's possible to remove intention and just be. It's a sort of cop out.
That is the easiest way. Yeah, that is the easiest way is to just be. And so maybe using intention in a different way might be interesting, and it's a fun word. It's a very interesting word, and I think it's.
I think intention is I think it's one of those cop out words.
Well, I'll give a story maybe and share your feedback and see and I'm just thinking about intention in a different way. So
Yeah.
I could have a certain experience, right, where I'm feeling sick inside. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm losing my vision and I'm sweating and
Damn, man. The host has just dropped off. And you're back in the room. Yeah, you dropped offline there.
Yes, I did. I got kicked out, and so I could. So I'm saying all these things, right? I'm feeling these things that most people would feel very uncomfortable, and they might tell themselves a story related to these feelings, relating to, let's just say, the pressures.
Yeah.
And that story could lead to other distinctions. And depending on what the story is. So I'll give you an example. Like the story could be, oh my goodness, I'm dying. Another story could be, oh my goodness, I'm transforming into somebody more caring. And the direction of that story, like I said, has the potential to create further distinctions in the vibrational field. And these subtle distinctions are one way that I'll use the word intention. Knowing that you can actually take some control in this creative process.
That's really strange what you've done there. I don't mean strange in a really weird way. It's just that the way that you're not a lawyer, are you?
Some people say I should have been.
Yeah, because the way that you phrased that and the way that you've sort of like encapsulated this whole being able to use this in a more constructive sense, because as it is known, intention's a great word. To have intention's a really good thing to have. It's not. I believe it's not. I believe it's yet again another strand of lack of self-responsibility to commit to the things deep down that we know that we want to commit to. You know what? It was my intention to get that done, and it's still my intention to do so. Well, guess what? That's a massive big vacuum.
Well, I need to clarify.
Did you manage to get that done? I didn't, but I really intended to do so. It's like sort of saying, it's instead of saying, no, I didn't. Why didn't you get it done? I mismanaged the time badly, or I decided I didn't want to do it.
In fact, you know what? I need to clarify myself because I may have misrepresented my thoughts.
I think your thoughts were amazing and deep there. It's just that it really felt like you were using intention instead of the pawn that I think it is. I think you sort of elevated
intention. Intention is the wrong word. Intent is much more correct to what I'm trying to represent. Not intention, intent.
Yes.
Not the un part at the end is not accurate to what I was trying to clarify. So my apologies. That makes a big difference in my own mind.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting because one of the things that I've learned that positively affect my own life was to not make excuses, as to minimize any excuses as I can, given the tools and mental facility that I have at any given moment. Like doing things like somebody says, hey, do you want to, go with me to, I don't know, to this thing? And instead of just saying yes, like I once would have, yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. Yes, I'll do that. I think whether I want to do it or not. and then I choose to do so or not to do so. I make it educated choice based on my own needs in life, and I say yes or I say no. I don't say, you know what, I'm gonna meet up with you, the Blonde Scotsman, and we're gonna have a chat. If I don't want to, I wouldn't do that. It's either, again, there's things that sometimes come up, and plans get changed, but it's not an intention thing. I'm gonna be dedicated to doing something, and if it's something that I don't want to do, I'm not going to give myself to it. And I'll do things that are uncomfortable. It's not about being uncomfortable. It's not about always making excuses. Okay, yes, I told you I was going to go to your house and have dinner, and now I'm pretending like I got a tummy ache because I don't feel like getting in my car and driving.
Yeah.
I say things. I say yes, and I stick, and I want to do them. I don't agree to things anymore that I don't want to do, and this has been a huge in my, I would just say, mental illness recovery process.
Yeah.
That came in many forms, and I think, when I think about this, I think a lot of my own personal struggle, I attribute that a lot to diet. In my past, I attribute a lot of that to diet. Of course, there's layers of my own nonsense that warped my ability to be here and be now.
Struggle. Yeah.
It's a funny word, isn't it?
I
actually imagined a vision came into my head of literally like me squirming around.
Well, what else? Yeah, well, what I mean, like, if we put ourselves on this elevated form of a light source and projection, like you were talking about, maybe if we didn't struggle, we would be constantly on the healing curve. From what we have experienced, to feel that things can be so hard, that the path and the journey has been a struggle, but on that path where we have recognized that word, there's been a consistency and some sort of healing curve, some sort of like a
Yeah.
See, for us to recognize the downward energy words, to incorporate it into our experience, that's what that's going to be. It's like, did you suffer or did you learn a lesson?
Yeah, that's so true.
And it's like, I suffered. Well, if you suffered, you maybe didn't learn. Well, I definitely did learn. Well, you couldn't have really suffered.
Yeah,
there can be points of unease and points where there's been an uncomfortable situation, maybe even pain involved. They are just all parts of the human experience.
I had this very strange thing that happened to me, and
excuse me.
As I was driving to work, doing the same drive that we're chatting on now, I had this sense of dizziness and rapid heartbeat, and I had this strange metallic feeling, and it worried me to all hell. And there was one point where I was like driving in the slow lane all the way to get to work. And I made it, and I worked, and I was fine. The next day on my drive, started feeling these feelings again. And it got to the point where I was so concerned about what was happening to me and my ability to drive. I had to pull over, and I pulled over to a gas station, and I called my mom,
Yeah.
and I just needed to like connect to something, right?
Yeah.
I needed, someone to kind of keep me moving.
Yeah, I do that a lot also.
And I was walking in circles, trying to walk this thing off. And I tried to sit down and I relax, and I couldn't sit down in my car because that felt like it was going to
Your audio keeps dropping off, brother.
Oh, dang it. Let me see this. I accidentally picked up a...
Manakoa.
There we go. I can hear again.
Yeah, I can hear you now, brother.
Okay, so I'll make a long story short, and I couldn't gather myself, and I tried for the better part of 30 minutes, and I ended up calling my dad because he was in the area to come pick me up. And I thought, can you come pick me up and just drop me off to work? And him and my brother come and pick me up. And they're concerned, and I call my wife, and she's concerned, and they all want me to check myself into the emergency room. And so I don't really want to. And then on the drive, I kind of say, well, maybe we should just go in because they thought I was having a heart attack or something. And I get to the hospital. They strap me up and whatever, I don't know, do some little heart monitor thing, and put me in some big machine and probably check take other scans or whatever. And they go, okay, nothing's wrong with you. Here. To make just to summarize, what they ended up wanting to do was give me some psych meds. So
Yeah.
I didn't agree with that diagnosis because I knew that there was more mysterious things happening. And
Yeah.
I was more or less bedridden for the better part of a week, without
Just
any particular injury.
just in a deep sort of like psychotic sort of state.
I was, I guess something like that, yeah. And I had this feeling I had a choice.
I know exactly what this
I
is.
had the choice to die or to live.
I know exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know.
This is and to the period that led up to that, you've probably had about 4 or 5 years full of awarenesses. Awareness of this, awareness of that, awareness of all these different elements of things. You slip, we collectively, when we experience these individual personal awarenesses, move into a place of realizations, and it is vast. The realization of like how important we are, as well as how insignificant we are, how amazing this planet is, as how horrific it is, and there is a shut-off point. We lose touch. We lose touch until we find our place in this realization of this chaos and beauty. We are projected a certain society, human experience, as you describe it, that is all false and not true. And these are the awareness parts of us recognizing that. Then once we recognize that, every single thing that we know about ourselves at that point is not true. And then we try to go through this massive big vacuum of realization of who am I? Why am I? What is this? And it's not a great thing to be happening to any individual in their 20s, their 30s, or their 40s. This is the thing that definitely, what you just says, drives people to the doctor, gets them on the psychotropic tryptamines. Before you know it, you're on the SSRI inhibitors, and by that time, your hopeful onward spiritual growth and connection will be dulled down and nullified, and it would only have been a passing phase. Are you still on the medication? Yep, I'm still on the medication. Everything's fine.
Yeah. It seemed like the feeling that I got was it was such an unthoughtful, conclusion that these people came up with, and I knew that I had to do better on myself, and I came to the conclusion that this was spiritual intervention.
Yes, they would look at symptom diagnosis, and then they would prescribe you something. They don't look at the biological, the physical, and the spiritual connection to how or what you would be experiencing.
Yeah, that's not connected to their laptop formula.
Oh no. Definitely, that's
not connected to the prescription.
See, what I love about the way that they sort of like twist the meaning yet make it purposeful to the industry is the alternative medication. Alternative medication. The word alternative.
Yes.
You see, they play this double part on us. It's like, who would think about alternative medication? Well, not a lot of people, because within that word itself, it's telling you it would alter yourself. It would alter you, the thing that is the native part of you, this true connection to words, language, society, trust, and establishment would alter that. It's alternative medication. It's only people who have maybe through such a hard life and get to that very last point of the prescribed medications where they will look to alternative, and everyone is ostracized. Oh my God, you're trying that? You're trying this? What you're going for what sort of treatment?
Yeah,
they're very clever.
And if you question the consensus, you are crazy.
Yeah, well, as we spoke about, it's natural mystic. Yeah, it's natural mystic or schizophrenic. You know, it said delusions of grandeur or you're a shaman. And they have these split direct definitions for people displaying the exact same symptoms. I really love the story about the Indians who they classified as a schizophrenic who was sitting at the side of the road, and all he would do all day is watch cars go past, watch cars go past, watch cars go past, watch cars go past. And very much the culture in India is that these people are classified as like mystics or gurus, but to be left alone if they stay in the street, to be helped with food. They're not classified as like mentally ill. They have something going on different from everybody else. And someone had went and interviewed this man, and they said, "What is it you're actually doing?" And he says, "I'm watching every number plate going by, because every single number plate has an individual connection to it." And the man was saying, "Yeah, well, obviously he's clinically gone in some way." And he said, "No, every single number plate is connected to the people in the car. When I connect with the number plate, I connect to the people, and all I'm sending everybody is peace and love. So every number plate, I see out the number plate, I send peace and love to it." So what the man said, "So you're projecting peace and love through numbers on a car to the individuals in it?" And he said, "Yeah." And all that man would do every day would sit at the road and read out number plates and read out number plates and read out number plates. And to the Western world, he's a schizophrenic.
Yeah.
To deeply spiritually intended people, he's an earth angel. If
One of the things that I find, my apologies.
No, I was finishing there. If that's all he was about to do in his life, and he sat by a roadside, and people came and gave him food because they classified him as some sort of like mystic doing whatever he was doing. What he was doing was with purpose and intent.
People see the value in it.
Yeah.
People see the value, and they support it. They support people like that.
Yeah.
It's very interesting and very different from our thoughts. One of the things that I appreciated, going back once again to Joseph Campbell, he basically said that a schizophrenic experience is indeed the hero's journey. And his suggestion was to allow people to complete the journey. They have to complete their own journey. I met a man in Berkeley, California, at what is called the People's Park, and it's kind of famous for it's at one point it's open-mindedness and stuff, and homeless people and stuff like that, and people sometimes on unique substances. And I met a man there that he was younger than me, and I was quite young at the time. And he was we had a discussion, and he was following a path led by blue. So if he'd see blue, he would follow it. And it took him from somewhere very far to this place where I was at. And, the first thing that anyone could think of, that is going to be our program for us to think, is that, yes, this person is crazy. And what, kind of my take on it was, where is this man going? Where is he going to be led to? And I don't know. And I imagine it was somewhere, or it is somewhere beautiful. I don't know where it is. But I believe that I believed him. And my dear friend, thank you for joining me on Morning Light Radio, the weirdest morning radio show you will ever dare tune into on the planet. I could almost confidently guarantee that.
Your music this morning is amazing. Also, I really love that, mate.
Thank you. I'll try to make a fresh track. That was.
It was sort of like at points
some
mystical. It was like at points it was mystical and soft, but at other points a little bit eerie and edgy. I really loved that. That was good.
Oh, I'm so glad. Hey, thank you for coming in. Thanks for everyone who's tuning in. Good morning to you. Good evening to you. Or whatever it is. Good dreaming to you. Good waking. God bless you. Many thanks to all the beings out there, inanimate. Love you all. Thank you.
Peace.
And good day to you, my friend. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.
Have a great day. Peace.
You too. Peace out.